live. Okay. Assalamu alaikum. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Listen that there is no ilah, there is no God but the God, Allah, al-Khaliq kulli shay'in, the creator of every single thing. Lahul ham wa lahu mulk wa huwa ala kulli shay'in qadir. To him alone is due the praise and the thanksgiving, the sovereignty, and he is the one that has power over all things. So I greet you for this Talim tonight. And assalamu alaikum. I want to thank the Imam and the resident Imam Abdul Malik, for allowing me this to address you as best I can. And I want to thank them too for, I need to have this on.
If you need it, it's probably you can hear it louder up there with the speaker.
So, again, I thank you for giving me this opportunity to address you. I don't come here I'm not coming as a scholar, I'm coming here as Talib, who is a student. But I want to thank you also for allowing me to back clean, back clean up, and to clean up with the bases being loaded. I'm just hoping I don't strike out. And clean up, the base has been loaded already, and I'm hoping to strike out. So now I just want to do a little some context before I really get into this thing. I got some notes and things here. Hope I don't confuse you too much with what I'm going to try to give, and I hope I can do myself. Let me disclaimer. I want to try to relax and do ourselves and understand that I'm not interested in convincing or converting anybody else to my mission that I have as a student of Imam Muhammad. I'm not interested in. I think that was brother, but I think he trying to clean up and say, well, he's not interested, aggressive, trying to convince somebody to follow the religion. Hopefully not in saying that they're not trying to convince someone to do the da'wah. We are obligated. But I'm not interested. I am a student of Imam Muhammad, rahimahullah, interested in you converting you to be a student. So, but I did want to say that and give a comment. I'll be addressing you as a student, and some things I say may have go directly to the students, but hope to share with anybody that might be able to benefit. And the Imam Muhammad, as I see him, as the most excellent student and follower of Muhammad the Prophet, who is a universal leader for all time completion of the prophetic mission. So we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for us with that final revelation through the most excellent of examples with Muhammad the Prophet. Like I said earlier, I using this word, I'm pretty late in the school of W.D. Muhammad, and I'm purposely using that word matriculate. Matriculate means to enroll in, and it has as its base matrix, and the relationship with matrix, it is connected with mother. As African societies have been matriarchal societies as opposed to patriarchal. So matrix is related to mother, and we operate out of some kind of thought matrix, that formed, that has shaped our opinion. And let me say, quite frankly, I'm really surprised because I figured wasn't nobody gonna be here but me and Imam Elamine. So I'm surprised a few of us that are here. So, but anyway, I welcome you. Nevertheless, I'm telling you, man, I'm probably go right up to the time, limit, brother. I'm gonna run right on up there. So I'm gonna try to get as, I won't be able to do all of this, but I'm gonna try to get as much as I can and to have something that makes sense. So I'm just doing preliminary stuff here now. And I think I can do this. And this is preliminary, so my aim is to just to get you, not to convince you, but get you to think, offer you something that you might not have perceived in a certain way. Another marker might be a little bit more.
Get the black one, Imam.
Yeah, black, okay. Is this a black?
No, that's the other one. It's got,
This one, okay.
Remind me, I'll bring some markers from now.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah, remind me, I'll bring some markers from my office.
Inshallah.
Ooh. That was something. My mind. Yeah, that's, they used to say in the old nation of Islam, from the teaching of Quran, said Islam is. They used to have that expression. I think this is. Let me. I may be corrected. 760. I'm thinking that's close. And this is what? 186 times 10 to the third, 186 miles per second. That's how fast light travel.
Yes.
Now, everything I say, you may not think, but I'm talking about the family of Imraan. I'm not unaware that that's what the topic is. So light travels at 186,000 per second. This is the approximate speed of sound, depending on what's happening in the environment, 760 per hour. Believe me, I'm still talking. I'm talking about speed. You with me? All right. So if you're, but this is what I
Put light at the top and hearing at the next one.
okay. It's really not that. But we do and what you say? Put here.
Hearing. Hear.
Here.
Yo.
Sound. Okay. So that's pretty fast. But you know what travels at faster than all of that? We taught in the old nation of Islam? The mothership.
Yes, you did.
You know how fast that the mothership travels? Anybody know?
No.
Travels at the thought. So mothership travel at the speed of thought. So that's what I'm asking you to do, to get on the ship at that mothership that travels at the speed of thought. Now, I'm talking about the mothership. We were in Oklahoma a number of years ago, and from the masjid there, and that was the old, I think the new Nation of Islam people, they had a temple across the street. And so we went over there and, got some fish or something from them. We bought some stuff. That's the new masjid. And so they had a DVD up there playing. And it's not knocking anybody, but they had Minister Farrakhan up there, and he was saying that he had gone to the mothership and he had talked with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. This is not the main bite of it, but this is the point. He had talked with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, but he couldn't see him, but he was able to talk with him. And people that supported the minister, they later on, they tried to say, don't be, they that, because they were saying, this time people, they don't want to believe. And believe me, back in that time, some of us, me and my friend, we thought we saw the mothership. Crescent and Venus hooked together some years ago. We thought we'd seen us. But I'm asking you to think with me. That's what I'm saying. I want you to think with me. And Allah says that He created the human being as Dhakar and Untha. See, this is one of the names of man, and human beings is Dhakar for the thinking men and the thinking women. So, mothership that I'm talking about. And you know, that influence on the Nation of Islam impacted the cultural environment to the point that people at Funkadelic
Yes.
with mothership. That was that language that went out that was influenced and impacted them. And surprising thing, I was up, I think some years ago, and I was at where the Forest Theater used to be, and a little club I used to attend, jazz, Green Daughter, that the new Nation of Islam people had a pizza parlor. And in there they had mother playing pizza. And that was a most amusing thing to me. The young, they didn't have any idea about what the mothership really was. Symbolic language. Traveling at the speed of what is it? So Parliament Funkadelic. I'm not sure how they spell that name.
I think it's like Parliament.
Okay. Parliament. So what is some basis for this word? Parlay. Parlay. Parlez-vous français? Oui. Oh, wait. So to speak. But you can't speak or even think without language, without words. This was a mission of Imam Muhammad, bringing new language to clarify and declare. And this is the big thing with the Quran. When Allah revealed the Quran to Muhammad the Prophet, he built it in Arabic Fusha. And that kind of language, complete language, is in the Arabic, but now he is expanding it and it becomes the standard for the language. And so one of the big things that happened with the human being is that they say an inflection point in the development of human civilization was fire, and the other when man developed the ability to speak and communicate with language. Inflection. So I remember from one dinners, as we talked about this Imraan, and a lot talk about them being chosen. So the brother was also pointing out, might have been you, one of the other brothers was pointing out, he said, look, we have here, as a believer, as a follower of Muhammad the Prophet, you've been chosen. And we come from different paths, but wherever you are, turn yourself to them. So wherever you come, you might come out of the prison system, and Allah got that. You might have come out of the church. You might have come like some of us from the church to agnosticism, to revolutionary black nationalism.
Yeah.
And that might have been where I found you. You know, because some of us might have been follow Malcolm and in revolution, but not in his revolutionary rhetoric and things. And so Allah chose us from different places. Yes, I do believe that we're all chosen, and this is just some personal thing. I think that I was chosen to be in this ummah of Muhammad the Prophet. I was born, and I found, as I was researching later on, I found that my grandfather on my paternal side, I don't know where he got that name from, but his name was Omar. And my friend that brought me into the community nation, his name was Maurice back then before he changed his name. And Maurice, it has related with this etymology, is Moorish. That's where it comes out of. Kenya or Morocco. Those are all. So, and then on top of that, I said, in Toledo, Ohio. Toledo is one of the major sites in Moorish Spain. So I looked at all of these things in my back. I said, okay, they were Rabans. Some spelled Raybon. R-A-I-B-O-N, some spell R-A-Y-B-U-R-E-N, some spell Y, Ray, B-O-N, B-O-R-E-N. So, I said, oh, Ray born, that's to be born into the light. Born into the light. So I'm thinking that Imam Muhammad, when he came into office later on, when he gave us a flag of the Quran, and a charge with this flag, the one that we have, the one that's on the
It is right there.
Yeah, that one right there. We were so proud because for 14, what is this? Yeah, 14, what is this, about 1446?
Right now.
Yeah, by count. After all of 1446 years from the time of the prophet, nobody ever came up with an instant of the Quran with rays of light coming out that was inspired by his father, the Honorable Elijah, with those 7 letters. And they've had La ilaha illallah, but it's been on the but out 1446 years. I'm saying nobody ever came up with just Quran.
Yeah.
And so I know the people, they were kind of on hard, they were wondering, where they come with that from? So we are very, very happy that we were chosen and had that as our instant. And so I noticed this is not about me. I'm just trying to get to a point that I used to have a barber, sister, and she always had the picture of the message to the black man in the barber shop there. I don't know if I don't think she made the I think she was honored some years ago, but I don't know if she made the transition. But she used to always have that sign there, and that's my barber. Fits you and somewhere in that area. Yeah. And my uncle, he had a friend, I think he came into the nation, and he managed the Brook Street Apartments. They both came out, and my friend I was speaking of, they used to back in the day smoke herb together. And so Charles, this friend of my uncle's, he would always, when we go, he'd always be talking about the mothership. And my would get tired of hearing about that mothership day, and he would change the subject. But I had all of these influences impacted me. So I'm going to greet you again, convener of our association here. Many there is an association, and Imam W. Muhammad, like we have ICNA has an association. ISNA has an association. MANA has an association. There are many associations. So our Imam, our state, regional convener, Imam Shakir, Omar Shakir, the men know. He likes to always come out, and when he comes out and greet, he always say, Assalamu alaikum, family. So this is to bring us back to the idea of what we're discussing here, this idea of family. Ali Imran, the family of Imran. Now, I got these Arabic scholars in here, so I know that they are helping out. Let me see. It's a little ragged, but I hope you can get Ali Imran. This is Ain elongated with Imran noon. So Ali Imran. Now, what do we have at the basis of Ali Imran? One of the companions of the Prophet and one of the, as they say, the Kuli for Rashidun, Ummah, Ali Imran, Ummah. Ummah means also be long lived, to have long life. Also, when we make the Hajj, incorporated in the Hajj is Umrah. That means sacred visit. So to this family of Ali Imran, long life, but also sacred visitation from Almighty Allah to this family, Ali and Ram. I'm going to read some of this. I'm still talking about, no matter what, I'm talking about Family of Imraan, no matter what it may seem. You may think I'm off on a tangent, but I'm not. So I'm going to put this back up again. Ali. When you look, and in some of the dictionaries, when you look in the, you find close to that Ali, you'll find it'll be grouped a lot of times together, very close with Ula. You find it grouped a lot of times with Ula. Now, if just a long vowel, we made it Ula. Well, you'll find a group with Ula. Ula means first. It means first. It means to be that is nearest. You see the Ula first. Ula. So now, and this name, Omar, you have famous people in this, Muammar. One brother that he had some issues and things, that was Muammar Gaddafi. And the other, Muammar Gaddafi. Now, Imran. I don't think I'm not going to pass these out right now. I have some handouts that I want to pass out, but I'm going to wait just a minute before I pass them out. Imran. So we have chapter 3, Ali Imran, beginning with 1, with ayat 1. We have the family of Imran being addressed in ayat 33. A number of prominent people in the religion that you mentioned as part of this family. Family. Ali means family. Also, it can race. It can mean that it can indicate dynasty.
And which word you saying?
Ali Imran.
Yeah.
Race, family, race, dynasty. Allah says that the Prophet has said to us, rather, family has the first priority with God. Family with God. And when Imam Muhammad came in, this was one of the things he first began to talk about, was if we are to develop and establish ourselves as a community, we have to have family stability. So family has priority. But family also, family can be, you can have good family, you can have bad family. You can get family. Like mafia family. Mafioso, that's a family. Shared interests, they had shared goals, they had shared protections, they had shared interests. But this Ali Imran is a special kind of family. It's not a mafiosa kind of family. They have shared goals. It's not a crime family. And they were chosen for what? Chosen to carry the word of God, carry the message of God, the light of God, chosen to be an example for his favor and for his special blessing, for his ni'mah. And even a ni'mah is a higher station than just so they're chosen for his ni'mah. I think Imam Al-Amin said, you have to be for Allah to choose you. You have to be in a position for Allah to choose you. God can choose you for an opportunity, but you can make a choice whether or not this opportunity or not. So, should you accept this mission, It's not impossible.
No.
But should you choose it, you have to choose to accept it. Abraham's father wasn't chosen. He wasn't chosen. Abu Lahab wasn't chosen. And there was Noah had some sons and some others. They weren't choose to accept the mission. And then what did Muhammad Ali, when he first came into office, one of the things that he said, I was born for this mission. So I've just given you these things here to try to help condition you to help. We're not trying to convert you, but to help you maybe try to walk with the wise man. You know, what is it with Moses? This is one of the family, part of the family of Imraan. He was traveling with his fatigue. And what is his fatigue? Also one that you give fatwas to. So he was traveling down the river, trying to get to the junction. Then the story goes where fish. But that's not my point here. So Moses also wanted to with the wise man. The fatigue traveled with him. He wants to travel with the wise man. So the wise man said, "No, you're not gonna be able. You ain't gonna be able to, common parlor. You ain't gonna be able to hang with me. You ain't gonna be able to hang with me." So he said, "Oh yes, yeah, I'm follow you. I can go with you." So at every turn of the way, Moses had later on he had a question at the end. Why'd you do this? Why'd you why'd you do this? Why'd you repair the wall and you didn't get no reward for that? So the wife said, I told you weren't gonna be able to go with me. You couldn't travel with me. So now I say some of these things to help us so that we'll be able to travel with the wise man. The wise man, one of the things that the wise man did was with this wall, didn't he? He repaired the wall. Why? Treasures in the wall. And it's for the offerings. Treasures in the wall for the offering. So when you're really good at something, or even for you card player, when you really good at something, or you do it at a test, you say, "Oh man, I aced that." Or when you do well on the test, you say that. So this wise man, he was a wall ace because he was good at what he did and he knew what he was doing. So I want to let you know that this association, it has a wise man. It's got a wall ace. Imam Muhammad Rahimahullah is a wall. I'm not trying to convince you. He was a wall ace. And this is something might be disconcerting to you. Still talking about Family of Imraan.
There you go. Right there.
I'm still talking about the Family of Imraan. So he says, one of the things he said, I saw in a vision. He didn't say a dream, and it was. He said, I saw in a vision myself with the believers putting their hands supporting the prophet. Just and I guess he was referring to what we saw the Treaty of Aqaba. With the believers putting their hands. He said, I saw myself with those believers placing my hand with them with the hand of the prophet. And he said, there are that Allah has blessed me with. He said that even some of the prophets, y'all not a prophet. He said, but Allah blessed me with some things that some of the prophets didn't get. And if our people, yes, he said that. He said, Muhammad is the last prophet. He said, but if Muhammad had not been the last prophet, our history, this country, he said it would overshadow the history of the Jews. It would overshadow their history. Now it's a whole nother about with me, well, whether or not what we have now as modern, and this is not to be bashful, whether or not we have as modern Jewry is actually ancient Hebrews. And one of these books I've chosen people of the Caucasus. This is book of Michael Bradley about those Europeans who converted between Islam and Christianity, and they converted to Jews. And they were out in Russia or around the Russian steppe, many of them. So this is where their ancestors from there. So they may not, many of them, most of them, Goldsmere and Bader and all those founders, Theodore Herzl, they can't trace their history back to that. So we're talking about Ali Imran and all that stuff. It should be, I was looking through some Bibles I had, and we don't know what they asked one minister, you say the skin color of the people, Jesus was, so he said, well, it wasn't just white, it wasn't white, he lived there and it was probably had some color and this and that to it, and he was, because somebody had asked him that question. So this is not the focus on skin color. But when they lie and all you see, like Muhammad Ali used to say, well, the devil food cake is white, angel food cake is white, devil food cake is black, all the disciples, all the prophets, all this, all them. And when you see in the book, they're still putting all the, I don't know if they still do it or not. I don't know if they still do it or not. But so this is a subtle attack and a arrogance that was put out there, and it was given to them, to European people. Many of them, they unbeknownst, and I hope to mention that conjunction when something else comes up, yes, if I can. So those, and I'm still, this is still what I call, I haven't really gotten into the topic. This is still what you call it, contextualizing. So there are those who say, they say, well, I don't follow no man but Muhammad, no man but the prophet. What I'm saying is, you really are not following the prophet, because the prophet promoted leaders. So he said, if you make Juma prayer, if there are 3 of you, then one's got to lead. If it's 2 of you, the one on the left got to lead. And when the prophet, peace and blessings upon, sent out a delegation, they have to have a leader. So if you say you want to follow nobody but the prophet, then you're not following the sunnah of the prophet. Now that person has to be following, he has to be following Muhammad the prophet. Now if he's outside of following Muhammad the prophet, you ain't got no business following him, but you say you're a believer. Now, I'm trying to get to the topic. So all this is to say that we have, as this associate, have our own vision, we have our own opinion, but it has to be within the context of the Quran. If there weren't differences of opinion, there would be no need for shura. What are you going to have shura for? If you had everything, yes, sir.
When you say that the individual will have a misconception of things when he say he follow no man except the prophet.
Yeah.
And you say out of reasoning, which you are already presenting, Allah said in the Quran, he said he gonna call everyone by their respective iman.
So and in fact, been on my notes. So, and on my notes, I said, I hope that, so not only by their respective imams, which we, Allah said, we don't know who they are, how they do, but also we know that our, when it names it, it is imam. So he gonna also call people based upon what they say, the book they say they believe, they're gonna be judged with that.
Yes, sir.
That will be what they follow.
Yes, sir. So we have a vision. If it wasn't the vision for the Imam Muhammad was New Africa. Not old Africa, New Africa. A new vision for our lives. So I hope that I am, if I make it here after I pray Allah, He has mercy, let me make the hereafter, that he will let me be raised up with my imam to go and visit the prophet. Go and visit Muhammad the prophet with my imam. I pray Allah, he grant me that mercy. So we were talking about, in your context, when we said about unity. See, so all this was addressing something about the unity. So unity doesn't mean homogeneous. See, homogenized. There's unity. I think they had something recently down in Houston. I guess it's coming up. Might have been something for the man down in Stafford. They got something coming up down there. It might be something on the email. I'm not sure. I forget the email I got.
16.
Yeah, 14th and
Is that what it is?
14.
Okay. So I remember years ago when Imam Wazir Ali, and he hosted the imams from Imam Station, and he had a number of them. They had me as an alternate, and I was, oh, that's good. I don't need the spotlight. I don't need the spotlight. But anyway, had me started out. So he said, okay, you can be an alternate. I said, okay. I started not to prepare. I said, and I was working. I don't know if I was driving or my wife was driving, but I was laying back and I was sleeping. But I did bring some, and sure enough, I got down there and they said, well, such and such brother, he couldn't make it, so you got to take his place out in Stanford. So when I went out in Stanford, they said they just do generally they do an all Arabic khutbah, all Arabic prayer, and they don't do any khutbah. I think message. He said they do an all Arabic prayer. I don't think, but I want you to go out and do the khutbah. So I went out to do the khutbah. Once one thing I just first that. So I went out and the things that I told them was that to be the same, to be in unity. See, we don't have to be. There's plurality in the unity. What they call it, what is it? Equity. What's
Diversity.
it called? Diversity,
Equity, and
inclusion. So the Muslim, we should have equity, diversity, and inclusion. So now, what does it take to be in unity? I remember we had the first United Eid here, and that was over on what was Forest then.
Yeah.
Many don't know the history. That was over. And I still got some pictures there while the people came in. We had United in that little building on Barren. And then later on, after then, a year or so after then, I think we had it out in Richardson. When Richardson had a little small frame house. They didn't have that big masjid. They had a little small wood house for a masjid. And we had a United Eid there in the backyard. Us to have unity, well, we got to have some respect. I don't have any problem reading and listening to other scholars. And I'm trying to tell this stuff, man. Having any problem listening to other scholars and appreciating and inviting and take that knowledge into my possession. And so be able to tell, you shouldn't tell somebody, well, now, if you come in, you can't quote nothing from me, Muhammad. You can't mention that. You shouldn't say that. That means you don't respect me. You don't respect my leadership. So we have to have respect. That's one of the requirements. That you may lead to other food, that you may know each other, but that you may recognize each other and recognize that each of you bring something different. And so you can be, so that in that way, you are enhanced. The Grand Mufti of Saudi Arabia, Sheikh bin Baz, before he passed, the man took his students to Saudi Arabia, visit with Sheikh bin Baz, the Grand Mufti of this, and he asked him for the benefit of his students. He said, what school should we follow? This conversation came up about school. So, we got the 4 major schools. Now, there were many other schools. And the reason they narrowed it down to what they call taqleed, blind following, because you have so many sheikhs issued errant and diverse, off-the-cuff fatwas.
Yeah.
So the people, no, you got to follow. You got to follow Hanafi, Shafi, Maliki, or something. You got to follow one of these.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't just all off the reservation. say any kind of thing. So so many of the students, they formed these schools later on after these leaders that they are named after. So he told Imam Muhammad, Sheikh bin Baz, rahimahullah, he said, what school should we find? Math what? Math that. He said, read the Quran and study it for yourself, and you'll have your own school. Read the Quran and study it for yourself. I heard him say one time, he think that would be women that will develop a math lab.
Yes.
He said, women gonna develop a math lab. So he was on the Imam was on the World Muslim League, Robert. And so, they had him over there for when the Gulf War and all of that, they had him over there for that. Then later time he said, well, look, why don't you all help us and give us $500 million to do dawah, to do this? And they agreed. But the agreement was, if you would teach what we tell you to teach.
Yeah.
He said, nah, you can't buy me. I'm gonna take your money. That means you don't appreciate me. You think I can be bought. So no, we can't be bought. We can have variances and our differences, and we can, it's just like, I'm an old Navy guy. I'm getting to the top. Old Navy guy. So you got a Secretary of the Navy. You got a Secretary of Defense. You may have an admiral and a mere. I think that's where that word comes from. You have a mere, an admiral of a ship that may be in, as I was, in the 7th Fleet. But he's accountable to the Secretary of the Navy, the Secretary of Defense, who's accountable, maybe accountable to, well, now they might have a lunatic now, maybe accountable to a Commander-in-Chief. So you that follow, but so we may have different opinions, but we all must be under the umbrella of Muhammad the Prophet.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that you can't have an opinion and you get different, but you have to be in it. Okay. Al Imran. Let me pass this up. Just so that you yes, sir. And that's just so that it will help. I'm ready to run with the time, but that's so that's so that would help. I was trying to facilitate time. That's why I did that. This is kind of a rough chart of the family of Imran. So now, in the Bible, it's known as Abram. Abram. One is known as Abram, Abram. Now when Abram becomes, except there may be a few. See, you all didn't get the color one. I got the highlighted color with a few, but that's good. So now what? We're talking about the family of Imran, but Abraham himself was known as Abram before he became the father of a great multitude. Him on that suggests plurality. He's the father of a great multitude, and Allah says, "I as an imam for all the world, for all the people." He did, and Abraham's offspring. And what did I answer? He said, "But my favorite is not on those, not." God, not on the right, not on the weak, it's not on none of them. So you may be born into a blood family, not in the condition to get Allah's favor and our pleasure. It doesn't matter. The blood won't reach him. So now Abraham was married. His wife was Sarah. So when you have the right marker? No. Can I have it?
Yeah, you
I
have
think
to
you
probably
get
top
dry
on it.
too.
Oh, okay. Let me see if I can.
Pick up that blue one. It's a blue one that works also. Imam. One of those blue work pretty good.
So Sarah, sometimes it's spelled like this. It depends on at the beginning. It might have been spelled like this. Like this. S-A-R, Sarah. Sarah. I'm gonna give you these two Arabic spelling here. Sahara. Sahara. Sahara means to send away or to put out to pasture. Sahara, to put out to pasture. Sahara, it means joy. It means to make to rejoice, to make glad. Rejoice. Now,
Like you,
Joe, I see. Is it Joe, I see? When you get old, your spelling get bad. So now, tahweel. We read in there, you're gonna say, look, Allah sent this book, and in it are verses that are muhkam and they're mutashabihat. And then there, but those who just want to follow the seeking this ta'wil, this hidden meaning, this hidden interpretation, you say, that's so that they might mislead or have some kind of charge or authority over people. So now, but the muhkam are the fundamental things. Still, to get on serious. That is, don't lie, don't steal, don't kill, make the salat, pay cash, make the fasting. All of those, that's clear, fundamental things that we are obligated to do. Now, there are other things that are less fundamental, that are mutashabih. So they're open, subject to various interpretation. Now,
I hate to rush you, man. You got
okay, about 5 minutes. So Sarah here is here looking at the time of W. Muhammad. He's looking at this as a society and how it relates to Ismail putting out of Hagar into the desert by Sarah when she found that as a physical society, she was first established. And she asked Abraham to take a wife, Hagar, her handmaid, and he took a wife. They called it handmaid, but it says in that it was his wife. So now, but when it came, she became jealous, and Hagar was sent away. But this is the same similar story like she had this classical society. Now with Iblis, he was at first leading. Now when Allah said he's gonna make a Khalifa, then he gets jealous, and he despaired, got jealous and despaired. So Imam is pointing out that he's trying to get you to see bigger. This is what he's trying to get to do. This is the ta'wil. So this is just a history of the chart here, and all of these people are showing us things there.
Go ahead.
Yeah, and all these things are showing us things. So we have these people in the Quran. We know the miracles associated with Moses. Given excellent ta'wil on that. You may or may not accept that, the parting of the Red Sea, and particularly for your students, man, actually go back and do serious study. Moses with his rod turned into a serpent, and say it ate up all the falsehood. So this is about knowledge and enlightenment. So this woman of Imran, she was a woman. This is Mary's mother, and her name was Hannah. So now this, I'm gonna take 3 more minutes, I'm gonna close it.
Lord.
Hannah. Hannah is with Imran, Mary's mother, but Hannah is also with Samuel. And this was a woman that was not able to bear. She was looking to produce a man child, but she was looking to produce a son, trying to give birth to the, not only that, but to enlightenment, trying to give birth to the ray, trying to give birth to the son. And so same thing likewise with Elizabeth, same thing, John's mother, same scenario with the, so this, a lot of this with the story here about the birth of enlightenment. And yeah, I wish I could share some other things with you, but you can go and you can study. The last thing that I'm going to say, you know, Joseph, one of these, he was the one with the 12 sons, 12 of them with his 11 brothers. And he was who had the task wheel? Had the task wheel, didn't he? He was one of 12. So when Imam Wahid Muhammad started out, he was at number 12. He was in Philadelphia, number 12. And we are saying that he got the task wheel. He got the treasure of the wall. He got the treasure to save for the all. And finally, concluding here, we just have to cut it, is that don't just think of Samson, the Nazarite, as the one with the long hair. That was their tradition. Yes. But hidden wheel behind that, these people in Jerusalem, they had been carried off. I don't know if I got that date on here. They had been 587 BCE, and also that temple was destroyed in 70 AD. That may not be. So they were not liking that they had been overrun, and they conjured up a scheme. They conjured up a scheme to get back at the Romans. They captured them, and they a scheme of worship as that Blair likes to say that became a warship. So they decided we will tear the whole house down. Samson, he wasn't supposed to marry this woman. Yeah. But he had created this false, they created this false and they gave the Europeans a Trinitarianism from religious leadership, scheming from religious leadership. And he said that I'm going to, how they got the secret, it was in his hair. Don't think your hair gonna make you. You don't think, oh, I'm gonna grow my beard down. Man, this is all, it's tap wheel and all.
Yes, sir.
So the 7 locks, and we got 7 keys to open the lock. 7 keys to open the lock. I just have to stop. But Samson was a scheme. He said, I'm gonna bring the temple down. And what he didn't pull the pillars in, he pushed the temple. So he said a little boy led him to it. So he uses 2 principles of emotionalism and logic, and that was his plan. I will bring them down, and then I'll start it all again. Because I'm going to the mill. He's going to the mill, and he's going to grind. He had to grind at the mill, at any rate. So some other time, perhaps finish that and share that other with you. Thank you for indulging me. So this is a book too. This is a Samson Riddle.
Any comments or questions for Imam Pollard?
Oh, okay, I'll put it.
From Imam Wahid Muhammad, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's did that book. It's just transcripts from tapes that he did. So you may find some of that even the Concord. What's the book? The Tafsir. You probably find it somewhere later on in some of the Ramadan sections about Samson.
Oh yeah, you will.
So Samson, he was just like he was out of the house of Dan. Dan in the book said Dan was in the Bible said Dan was a serpent, and he bite to ride on the heel and was to be thrown off his horse. Then it relates to Daniel, the judgment, many other things. That's it.
Any other comments or questions for you, ma'am? You got a comment online. If you know
The heifer.
my woman, you wouldn't have my knowledge.
Yes. So that heifer, that cow, and so they got this idea that come out of Egypt, the sacred cow that the Jews, the Bene they use principle and that concept of seeing the society as a cow. But Samson, they were creating this new cow, this new society, and they were to get at the Gentiles that had taken over their society and the temple in 70. And Professor Farrar used a similar strategy. That's why he met him for a time and said that he was a Jacobite also, because he used the same strategy.
You know that the word in the Quran for the symbol of our tradition, and especially in the Ramadan, comes from the word shara. Yes, as in it, its root meaning is hair.
Yeah.
And the other side of the concept is called knowledge.
Yes.
Yeah, words of knowledge.
Come somewhere.
Huh?
Where does hair come from?
Yep, out of the skull.
There's another one why we was connected with when you go and you come back off Arafat,
Yes.
you
You
shave
shave your hair.
So much. This is much symbols in these things here.
Yes, sir. Alhamdulillah. Assalamu alaikum. We want to thank Imam Talib for again giving us always a very diverse expression of tafsir.
Yes.
He always does. And you have to read. This religion is about reading and educating yourself. And Allah commands every Muslim, every believer, actually every human being, to educate themselves. He didn't give you your mind for nothing.
Yeah.
Just in gifting you with a brain is a command from your Creator to become in. So praise be to Allah. We want to thank Allah much for this month of the Imraan. Next month we will be covering self as is given from the Quran. Self-empowerment as is given from the Quran. I believe I'm the first presenter next week for that topic, inshallah. And we will start that for the month of February. We have a treat for the month of Ramadan. I believe our young brothers and sisters lead us during the month of Ramadan, doing Ta'alim. So, inshallah, our young brothers and sisters will aid us because we welcome that. Everybody can be. In fact, they say a child shall lead them, and a child shall lead them. But we thank Imam Talib. We're out of time. So I would not be. How do you give a back that?
Yes.
So praise be to Allah, Imam Talib. We thank you, and we thank Allah Subhanahu wa Taala for the time, the date, the hour, the minute, the second, and for all things that are this. And we thank our Imam Abdul Malik for his wisdom in letting us express ourselves in this form. Alhamdulillah. So we close with dua, and we say, our Lord, deviate from the path after you have guided us. Send us mercy from thine own presence, for thou the ground of thy measure. Ameen.
Ameen.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
Am I making this? So that